back to a Pandas tutorial. In this session, I'm gonna talk about the shape, size, and Ndim. Let's go! As you remember in the previous session, I talked about the index and the related function to the index, such as reindex, setIndex, and rename. You can check the previous videos here. Now I want to talk about the shape, size, and dimension of data frame and the series. At the first, I need to import the Pandas and the NumPy library. As always, I use Pandas as a PD and the NumPy as NP. Okay, now I want to create a DF data frame for myself. So I need to use a Pandas that reads CSV because I just want to call a CSV file, and because the CSV file, the location of my CSV file is the same as this notebook, so it doesn't need to use full address, just the name is sufficient. And then I print a DF. As you can see, it has 16,743 rows and also 14 columns. Also, I want to create a series here. I said S1 pandas.series, and then I said, for example, 1 and 2, just a random number, 3 and 4 is enough, and then I printed S1. Let's take a shape of my data frame and the series and see what's happening. I said df.shape, and as you can see, it gives me the number of rows, 16,743, and also, as you can see, 40 columns here, and it gives back to me 14 columns as well. Also, I can get it by index such as shape and then bracket with a 0 index. I can get the rows, or for example, if I pass the 1, I can get the columns. Also, I can get the columns and the rows at the same time. I can say, for example, rows and columns equal to df.shape, and then I print, for example, rows and columns separately. You can see that each of them gets a columns and rows of data frame. But what about the series? If I said s1.shape, as you can see, it gives me 2. But what does it mean? If I print S1 here, you can see that in each row it has a 1 list with the 2 elements, and also it has a 2 column. As you remember, I talked about the series in this video. I said that series has a 1 dimension. So these two, it show us just the elements in a 1 dimension. What does it mean? It means that if I said S1 with the index of 0, I get the list of 1 and 2. It means that 1 and 2 together is just 1 element, and the second one is 3 and 4 together is our second element. So if I change it S1 into, let me change it into the list with a 1 element, you can find out that the s1.shape is a 2 as well, because in each index, all this list has just 1 element. Even in this list has a more than 1 value. Maybe, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let me use a comma between them, and then again I get s1.shape. As you can see, all these values together are 1 value for the index 0. Okay, let's go and talk about the size. If I said df.size, this value, what does it mean? This value means the whole number of elements in data frame. If I said df.shape with index 0, I means the number of rows, and the shape, df.shape with index 1, I mean that the number of columns. You can see this value as same as df size, because the number of rows are multiple to number of columns. It gives us the whole number of values in our data frame. What about the series? If I set s1 dot size, I can get just 2 because it has a 2 element, as we saw in the shape as well. This list just 1 element and the other list is the second element for series 1. And what about Ndim? Ndim give us a number of dimension. If I set df.ndim, I give 2 because it has a 2-dimension rows and columns. But if I set s1, as you remember, I said that a series has a 1 dimension, I just get 1 dimension. This is all about, you have to know about dimension, size, shape in data frames and series as well. If you have a question, please comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and watch our next video. Bye bye.